actually going to give you guys a quick, like 2 minutes introduction of what Dolphin is and why we're doing this Dolphin Garage event, and what's the long-term ideas of all these different Dolphin Garage. It's really all about the mobile developer community. But first and foremost, Dolphin, how many of you actually are a Dolphin user? Okay, about half. So for you two, thank you. Thank you for being Dolphin users. And for the rest of you who don't know about Dolphin, I highly encourage all of you to download, because you are literally at the Dolphin Garage. So you're on a turf right now, so you have to install. But I want to give you guys a quick background about Dolphin. So we actually started about 2.5 years ago. And the idea is that our founder Yeung, at the time that there was only about 3,000 Android apps. Can you imagine? Right now it's probably 500,000. And we were really surprised. There weren't any. The default browser, surprisingly, was very simple, and there was a lot of experience and functionality that we were looking for and we couldn't find. And that was the reason for Dolphin. It's really about solving our own problem. Really early on, we got a lot of users who are hardcore Android fans start sending us emails to help improve the product. It took us about 6 months to get to the first million, and since then, every month, about 30% increase in terms of users. It took us 2 years to decide finally to launch iOS. So we actually launched iOS about nine months ago. So right now we're on iPhone, iPad, and also Android. But still, the majority of our Android users. And what else? So we are actually, a lot of people actually will ask, usually the team, why Dolphin? So Dolphin is the first gesture support browser. So what that meant is, if I draw an S, and it could be going Sina.com, just looking at your name, but his S and my S could be different. So you can actually define and customize the gesture that you would like. Another thing that I actually love is Dolphin Sonar. So we are the first voice-enabled browser. So you can literally say, Facebook Tim Lee. It will go into Facebook and show you all the Tim Lee you know. So not purely just Google search. We actually pick certain, it's probably 400 or 500 of them we on the server side, which we do similar thing for eBay, for example. eBay Nike shoes. We'll go into eBay and show you all the Nike shoes. So essentially cut down 5 steps of typing into just one saying. So our belief is it's all about changing the way you would use mobile. So we started with touch, obviously, with sound, and who knows, maybe one day you can smell it with your phone and it will show up. But this is really what we believe in, is really changing that experience. So last year we're very lucky to have the support of Sequoia and also Matrix Partner. We raised a Series A. And then we are starting to do more and more partnership with carriers, such as we started in Japan with KDDI and SoftBank. These are some of these partners are also preloading and partnering up with us and install Dolphin on all their future Android phone. So this is a quick note about Dolphin. And this is just a quick screenshot of when we launched iOS. There are some of our users literally saying, this is the best Android browser. We uninstall the default, and congratulations. So we still, have a lot of core fans. We have about, did I mention that already? We have about 200 emails that we get every single day. There are some of the users literally every day send us a crash report. Alex, and it's you need to, and Alex, who do a lot of social media, every time we do an event, our user will be like, when are you going to fix my bug? Anyway, I'm very thankful for all their support, but at the same time, they look at what we do all the time. Got a lot of coverage, which is great. And then, next slide. And I mentioned, we can actually go to the very end slide. We'll talk about add-on. And this is one thing that I'm particularly excited about. This is something that we launched about 3 weeks ago, I think, is Dolphin Engine. So Dolphin Engine right now is, I don't know if you guys know about HTML5 or care about sort of the whole movement of HTML5. There's a site called HTML5 Test. It should essentially give you a score of how capable and how fast you run HTML5. And right now Dolphin is #1 in terms of that score, 450 out of 500. But we're not ready for prime time yet. Still in beta, but we're definitely working very, very hard in making sure that working well for developer. And last but not least, so one of the reasons why all of us are here, and it's sort of hot, and I apologize, we'll find air conditioning somehow, is the whole concept of Dolphin Garage. So we open up our API. So if any of you are developers, especially Android developers, and want to potentially tap into our user base, the whole point is to really expand this ecosystem. We have about 50 add-ons now. We definitely want to work with great developers with great functionality. And David, who is standing by the door right there, wave your hand. So if you're interested in working with us, he's a go-to person. So talk to him. All right. With all that said, I want to introduce our speaker tonight. The way that we're going to run it is I'm going to ask him a few questions and then open up the floor. And it's really about mindshare. And I think the whole idea of why we started thinking about this could be a good idea is that a lot of us have a great idea, and please have a seat, and want to develop an app, but then realize, what, you publish the app on App Store, on Google Play, and now what? You have no user. There's a lot more other things that we need to think about to build mobile business. And Tim been a great advisor and supporter of Dolphin, and we're really, really thankful to have him. So let's first give him a big round of applause for being here. So before we start, I do want to ask a quick questions for the audience. How many of you are developer? Okay. A lot of developers. Great. That's the reason why we're here. All right, so thank you for coming.
Sure.
So I have many, many different questions, but I think a lot of people definitely love to talk to you about the obvious reason.
Well, happy to be here, and I think we'll try to make it interactive. If people have questions, save them up, and we'll definitely try to go out to the audience as well. I appreciate everyone being here. I know some people are crowded around in the back.
Yeah. So let's start with sort of more the trend in the industry in general. So I know you're actually on the board for Evernote. Is that correct? So you look at a lot of these mobile apps. What are some of the latest trends you're most excited about?
Latest trends, wow. That's a very broad question, and I think each one of us here would probably have our own views. There are lots of things going on. Just the fact that there's so many of you here for a mobile developer event, I think it's easy to forget that 5 years ago, if we were to hold this event, there would be no one here. That said, there's still a lot left to be done in mobile. Don't you feel as though there's so much open space and there's a lot of creativity that has yet to manifest itself on the mobile device? I mean, we feel like all of the toys that are the hardware toys that are in these devices have yet to be fully exploited. Edith talked about some of the gesture controls, voice controls. We're just scratching the surface. And so we at Sequoia are particularly excited about some of these trends. I won't go into any details. Maybe if people have specific ones that they want to ask about, happy to chat about those. But I think we're just getting going with the whole mobile smartphone trend, and the fact that you guys are all here, that's an indication.
So with all the different mobile developers that you talk to, I'm sure you talk to, how many entrepreneurs do you meet per week?
Too many to count.
So what are some of the business fundamentals? Because we want to focus on building mobile business tonight. That's the conversation, right? What are some of the business fundamentals you feel like some of them are missing?
Well, there are lots of things to consider when you think about building an application or even a mobile website on HTML5. What distinguishes a mobile business or a real business to just an application that's out there? And the interesting thing is that we've seen some of this wave before. With the web, early days, people said that these were lifestyle businesses that could never amount to anything significant. People had things like the $1 million homepage, which were, in many people's eyes, just a joke. But at the end of the day, the platform did allow for real businesses to be built. And a lot of what we do, a lot of what I spend my time assessing when I meet with folks like yourselves and all the entrepreneurs who come by, is